Hello friends, welcome to a new tutorial, and in this tutorial we will see how to select an interesting portion of a reference, how to simplify it, and how to add more interest to that, and how to create a simplified watercolors out of it. This is the reference. We are taking the lower right portion of it and we will be painting that. Also, we will be adding more details to make it a little bit more interesting. This will be a simplified and a loose approach. We are not looking for any precise or realistic approach. Having said this, let us begin. I have placed the reference at the top left of it, and let us start the drawing. In the beginning, I am looking for what is interesting to me, what inspires me, and I found that the bottom right portion of the area, I think that is interesting, and I'm starting with some of the interesting element of that. Maybe the little bit of a shade or awning that captures my interest, and then I am adding more details around that. Okay. I'm using uh, a waterproof pen for the drawing. You can use pencil, or you can use whatever material that that is available with you. And as you can see, I am not worried too much about the precisions. My lines are not straight, but my approach is that to make it simplified, to make it uh, look casual. That is the kind of approach that I am going for. I like this kind of this vertical and horizontal lines. It creates a little bit of interest in that electric pole and transformers and other things. So I am kind of representing those things. And don't worry about making mistakes. My drawing, if you see, it is not perfect. There are a lot of improvements possible, but I am not worried about that. Okay. I'm kind of feeling free in my mind so that I don't take any tension. I'm trying to listen to what I'm hearing from inside. So try to listen to what your mind says, what your heart says, and then then try to follow that. Whether it comes out good or not, that is secondary. We should enjoy the process. We should feel happy. And yeah, these are some shapes. Okay, I really do not know what precisely they are, and I'm adding some figures also, so that area looks little engaging. And I don't want it to be very precise or very much uh, I mean resembling to the reference, but some of the elements from the reference I am taking. So like there is a cart here, so I found that little interesting, so I'm taking it. I like the electric poles and the transformer, those vertical lines. So I captured it. And I found that whatever is happening at the bottom right corner, I found it interesting. So I captured it. And I'm doing some of the additional things, I'm adding some additional things just to make the overall composition interesting. So I'm adding uh, a vehicle here, an auto rickshaw here. Okay, uh, it's an Indian public transport vehicle, three-wheeler. That is just to create a little bit more interest. Okay, I thought an auto rickshaw will be interesting, so I just added it. See, some of these decisions are just made on the fly, and I don't have any specific logic why I picked that particular subject, why I placed it there. So it's all kind of ideas that is coming to me while I'm drawing. So I'm just trying to listen, and whatever I think is good to go with, then I'm going with that. There's something happening at the top of that building, so a lot of chaotic cables and other things. So I thought I will add some of those things. Right. I'm just selectively, I'm selectively adding the details into my drawing. I'm not picking all the details. If you look at the reference, there are too much of details, too many things. And I don't want to make it that complicated. Okay. And I'm adding some of the things which is not in the reference. As for example, here I have made the sheet above or the awning little bigger, so that I have some places to add some figures and uh, to kind of create some drama there. Okay, right. I think I am pretty much done with my drawing. As I mentioned, it is not a precise drawing, and maybe something here. Okay, something in the background. I really do not know what it is. Okay, we'll decide what it is while painting. Maybe a person riding a bicycle here, just to create an interest. That's it. Maybe a figure here. Maybe some cables. There are a lot of cables hanging. Some cables moving across. So let us make some of those cables. Okay, that is. I think that is a characteristic of this particular scene. So let us give some respect to that. I'm not trying to precisely draw it as it is in the reference. Uh, I'm just drawing it the way I think. It will make it interesting. Right. I think we are done and we can start the coloring. So I am picking up a cobalt green sort of a color for the awning, for the shade, for the sheet, and see, I wanted to make some it little bit interesting, so I am picking some bright colors, and later I will be kind of merging together. I will be merging these colors together, most of this, and I'll I will reduce the contrast around this area, so that this area, I don't think it needs too much of contrast, but having some bright colors here will make it interesting, at least at the last. Okay, so after once we finish it, I think that having these colors, bright colors in the wash, will make it interesting at the end. Okay, I think we have somewhat represented the the sheet and the dark area underneath, and it's all think it as a joint or a combined shape. Okay, it is, don't take it as an individual elements. I'm talking about the bottom portion of it. I have treated it as a joint or a combined shape, and with some tonal variation. See, I'm using the same kind of green colors at many places, so that I think that that will create some kind of harmony. Let us give some background. If you really ask me why I'm going for this specific sequence, I really do not know. So whatever, I'm just listening to, whatever my mind says, whatever kind of instinct I'm getting, so I'm just following it. Okay, right. I think we can have some suggestion for some greens, for some trees maybe. See, it is not there in the reference. I'm just simplifying the background. If you add all these buildings, it may get very complicated. And some yellow color for the auto rickshaw. Usually this top portion of the auto rickshaw is always yellowish, orange yellow kind of color. and I'm not worrying about the colors bleeding into one another. So I usually like it when the colors bleed into one another because it is a loose approach, and there are some places where I don't want that. So I'm careful only when I don't want the bleeding to happen. Otherwise, I'm allowing the colors to merge. Okay, and some darker color at the bottom of the walls, and I want this darks to be somehow merged with the green color we have made, because I don't want too much of sharp contrast around this area. See, if you look at the reference, it is not having much of contrast, so I don't want too much of contrast around that area. Maybe some shadows. I'm not planning to paint any, I mean, apply any washes for the road or the ground. I'm just planning to leave it as paper white. Now the poles, okay. If you want, you can be careful while drawing this vertical line, but I don't want it to be very precise or very accurate vertical lines. So if you really want, then you can pay a little bit more care, attention, and make it more vertical. So my vertical lines are not very vertical, and I'm using a big brush for this. Okay, if you want it to be very straight vertical line, you can change the brush and you can use a smaller brush. Here I am using a medium size round brush with a good point. See, the paper that I am using is a cartridge paper. It is not a proper watercolor paper. So whatever I am making here, the painting is more sort of a sketch, more sort of a watercolor sketch than a watercolor, I mean, fine watercolor painting. Okay, so I treat it as a sketch. So I have taken a cartridge paper for this. And when if you are practicing, I would recommend trying this on a cartridge paper, the sketch approach, so that you can learn a lot of things in less amount of time. So if you want to make it as a proper watercolors, you might want to be more accurate, more precise, and spend more time on your brushworks and on your drawings. Okay, I have used a Payne's Grey for this dark color, little thicker consistency. And if you want, you can change the color to say green or something, because many of these auto rickshaws are yellow and greens. Okay, right. Some suggestion for the dark areas underneath, and some kind of separation here between the roof and the underneath of the roof. I'm looking for the sort of volume here. Okay, I think that is fair enough. See, if you look at the reference and this drawing, there are a lot of differences. But overall, if you see, if you look at the bigger shapes that we have copied, there are a lot of similarities as well. So that is what I am interested in. I mean, capturing some of the characteristics of the reference and then making it your own. Some sort of dry brushworks to suggest some of the details of the building. I sometimes smudge with my fingers. Okay, apply some tones and then smudge it so that you don't. It looks little interesting. Some of these horizontal lines. Usually, I would use a smaller brush for this. You can use liner brush, rigger brush for this. So for some reason, I decided to continue with the same brush today. So I'm using a single brush for this entire piece of work, and that will give you a lot of challenge. So that I mean, you may find it difficult to manage smaller areas with a bigger brush, but I think it will pay off. If you practice it, your brushworks will look more confident, and you will be more bold. You will you will you will not go for precise details if you go with a reasonably bigger brush. I'm using the same green color to kind of have some harmony or some reflected color to the figures below. See that the top is green color, so some light passing through that may spread some green color to the underneath objects. So I don't want to pick up too many colors here. So I'm trying to use same combination of colors, not too much variations in the color. This is little bit of an opaque white mixed, and if you are very conventional and if you don't want white to be used with your watercolors, you can always avoid this step. Okay, but I like this approach so that we can give some kind of interesting touches uh, as we need. Okay, so if you're using opaque color, it helps us more focused with the washes, not worrying about leaving precise paper whites. And then all those white hints, white highlights that you want, you can give it opaque white touches. But don't overdo this. Do it in a very controlled way. I think overall this looks good to me. The figures are not very much popping out, but it is felt that there are a couple of people underneath, and they are not very strongly coming out. That is okay. I think that is what I wanted. Okay. So that is the reason I didn't use much of contrasting colors for this. If you want contrasting colors, you can of course use it. I think I'm pretty much happy with this sketch. Okay, this watercolors, and I think this can easily be copied into a bigger size watercolors. And when I do that, I will pay more attention to the drawing and the details. Okay, I will make it little bit more proportional and a little bit more accurate. Okay. So I think we are very close to calling it as done. I hope you are finding it informative and you found it useful. If you have any questions or any suggestions, any queries, please do write them into the comment box below. And if you think this can help your artist friends, please share them so that the video can reach to more people and more people can take benefit out of it. And finally, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and press the bell notification. Okay, so I think we can stop fiddling with it, because the more we do, fiddling, and it may spoil basically. Okay, so I think it is at a reasonably good point that we can call it as done. So yeah, maybe some kind of line. That area was looking blank, so I just added some lines. So if you ask me where these lines are coming from, it could be some shadow, but shadow of what? I don't know. There could be some elements on the left side of it which we haven't painted, and the shadows may be coming there. So I think we can treat it as done. So I have a tendency to do these kind of touches. I think we should avoid it. Okay, so try to avoid making these kind of final touches, and as I told, control your urge to do more and more details. So thank you very much for watching this video, and once again I hope you have enjoyed it. You found something to learn from this. If you have any learning, or if you have any question, any suggestions, please do write them into the comment box below. So once again, if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe and press the bell notification. Please share this to your artist friends. We'll soon come with another interesting watercolor tutorial, and happy painting until then. Bye bye.